What's going on, guys? TKD13 video, and today I want to talk about No Man's Sky. Right now, this game has an interesting narrative to this game, right? I know you guys all know the story about No Man's Sky. You guys all know about how it went through a bunch of cycles through E3, and it probably went through way too many cycles at E3, and all this other stuff. And I just wanted to, just really touch base, really touch point on the recent criticism about the game. First and foremost, you cannot talk about No Man's Sky without talking about the hate it has gotten since release, right? It has gotten a ton of hate, and reportedly they say that 90% of the people that were playing No Man's Sky on release day has since gone away, right? 90% of it has been wiped out from the game, and that they're not spending time in the game, they're not playing the game. Like, it's basically 90% of their entire base of players just wiped within a week, which is a massive drop. And honestly, not even gonna lie, I am one of those people. Now granted, I maybe have some other reasons why. I just went to college, I'm starting up classes, I'm doing a lot of school and work are really using up my time. But with that being said, I still stopped playing it within the first week. What I'm saying? Like, I still took a pause with the game. And am I going to go back to it? I most likely am going to actually go back to it tonight. Like, I actually kind of want to play it right now. But everyone is not in my current stance on the game, right? Like, there's a lot of people that just stopped altogether playing with the game, and that's just a lot. This game reminds me a lot of what we saw in the Division that dropped back in March. That game got a lot of reception, got a lot of buzz, got a lot of good publicity at E3 and all these other events, and then once it came out to release, a lot of people bought it, a lot of people played live it for the first few days, and then everyone just stopped. Everyone just stopped playing the Division. It was like a 2-week thing, and everyone just stopped. Nobody was talking about it, nobody was hyped about any of the packs. I almost bought the season pass, thank God I didn't. But, at that same point, it's the same thing here. Now, the reasons why these two games kind of, dipped a lot in publicity and all that is kind of different, right? Mainly, what everyone's been saying about No Man's Sky is that it was not the game that they said it would be, right? All the devs were even kind of confirming that, multiplayer would be a thing in the game. And then videos came out seeing that people were going to the same exact location in game, and they could not see themselves, they could not interact with each other, like they could not do anything multiplayer wise, which is honestly a really big letdown. To make a game so vast and so big as No Man's Sky, and to not be able to explore this big open world with your friends is kind of honestly what I expected, and what honestly I kind of wanted to do. What I'm saying? I wanted to do two things in this game. One, to play it with my friends, right? Go on dope excursions, if you will, just awesome times, and also I wanted it to be kind of a laid back game, a game that I can relax with some music or just chill out, a game that is not so competitive, not so serious all the time. It's just a relaxing exploration game. But back to the point, multiplayer was something that they said would be in the game, and it was not in the game, right? So, and there's a lot of things that people would argue is not in the game, where there's apparently, a repetitive thing to the game, which I feel like, isn't really that big of a deal, just because a lot of games are repetitive. But I understand their angle as well when they say that, there's not a lot of things to do in the game, which is something that I can personally kind of agree with in a way. Like, there's not really a lot you can do other than just mine for materials, expand your ship, expand your inventory. There's not a lot to do outside of that, what I'm saying? So I definitely do understand where people say the game lacks kind of a soul in a way. And the backlash has gotten so bad that they even started offering refunds. Okay, now these refunds span from all the services, where it's PlayStation Network, Steam, Xbox Live. No matter what you have, you can get a full refund for the game with no reasoning, no questions asked, no nothing. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do this, just because, my time with No Man's Sky for overall has been pretty positive, so I don't feel like I am going to refund the game, just because I want to dive into it more over the coming weeks and stuff like that. But people I have spoken to have said that, they will be putting the game up for refund. But you can't talk about the negative about No Man's Sky without bringing up the positive. And honestly, there is some pretty good positive things said about this game, right? A lot of people are saying that they like how, it is more of a checkbox game, where you have tasks to do that are small and not really, meaningful, but just checking off these tasks, just doing what you're doing, really builds up and is a really cool thing for some people. And many of you guys know I'm a big Kind of Funny fan. So Greg Miller himself, has even said that this game lived up to his expectation of being a chill game that he can knock out a few hours at a time at night at the end of the day and have a podcast on or an album. You know, like me and him kind of had the same expectation for this game. You know, just a kind of a not so aggrandized, not, well, it is pretty aggrandized a game, but not, you know, so cutthroat of a game. You know, a game that you can just relax with and chill with. You know, which is exactly what I was expecting from No Man's Sky, and exactly, you know, pretty much what I got. And also, going along with the good stuff that's been said about this game, there are a lot of guys that are doing some pretty cool stuff with this game. There is one dude, I think he's on Reddit, I forgot where I heard this from, but like I heard from a friend, where there is a guy that is going to be journaling every day he goes onto No Man's Sky in this physical journal that he has next to him. So he's going to be documenting his time in No Man's Sky, which is super, dude, that's an interesting idea. That's awesome. Like, that is really, you know, interacting with the game in a way that I, you know, probably would have never done. But that's such a cool concept, you know, and there's so many stories of people playing No Man's Sky, and I have one personally. I'm going to paint the scene here, right? So I'm, you know, in outer space, I see a planet. I put my hyperdrive on, I'm blasting towards the planet. 5, 4, 3, the countdown's going down to when I get to impact on the planet. I finally land on the planet, but I land on this tiny island with a bunch of water around me, right? I'm basically in the middle of an ocean with an island, and I landed on the island, right? So, you know, I'm going around the island, getting some minerals, getting, you know, whatever I gotta do, and I go back to my ship. I don't have enough plutonium to launch my thrusters, and there's no plutonium on this island at all. So I had to swim for like 20 minutes north to get to the mainland, and then I had to walk another 15 minutes to get plutonium, and then I finally got plutonium, and I went all the way back, and I was able to start my ship up again. And just like little stuff like that, you know, these little adventures that you have in No Man's Sky is kind of what is holding me back from getting the refund for No Man's Sky. Like, there are, you know, a ton of these little small stories that I've had that are just fun. You know, they're just things that, you know, you probably wouldn't experience in any other game. So, you know, through college, through work, through hanging out with friends, I'm going to try and find more time to play No Man's Sky, because I feel like, you know, I haven't put, you know, a lot of time into it to really, you know, decide whether it's a game I'm worth keeping or going to, you know, get the refund for or whatever. But let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of No Man's Sky. If you play it, do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? Do you guys think 2 Chainz likes it? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, while you're down there, check out my description. You can find my Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all that good stuff. You can find me on there. Also, if you guys enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed me, if you enjoyed my presence, make sure to leave a like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I got you.